Hi guys, and welcome back to Full House Sports. Here myself, Charlie. Just a quick video this morning reacting to the breaking news in the Premier League that is Nuno Espirito Santo has been sacked as Nottingham Forest manager. I think anyone in the know, anyone who probably is a Forest fan, would know that this did feel a little bit inevitable. To fans looking from outside the club who are saying, well, he got Forest European football, why has he all of a sudden been sacked? There's been a lot of talk around the club that Nuno's relationship with Evangelos Marinakis, Forest's very well publicised owner, has been frosty at best. There's also talk that Nuno and Forest's new director of football, Edu, who of course used to be the Arsenal director of football, their relationship's been, well, non-existent, to be honest with you, all to do with the fact Edu has been bringing in players that he wanted to bring in and not necessarily allowing Nuno to do the same. So there has been a feeling, I think, that this is inevitable, that Nuno is going to lose his job. As a Forest fan myself, it is gutting, to be honest with you. Nuno had built the belief up again around the club. We got to Wembley last year as for the FA Cup semi-final. We obviously got back in Europe. We could have probably got in the Champions League, but I think we didn't bottle it. I know the narrative is we bottled it. We just didn't have the squad for it. You know, we didn't have a squad capable of doing it. We were vastly overperforming, and a couple of injuries, and it showed that we were struggling. We weren't fit enough as a whole to last that long for the season. And then when the injuries started, we didn't have the strength and depth. You know, you thought this summer was a chance to build. Morgan Gibbs-White, obviously, it looked like he was going. He's not going. He managed to be convinced to stay by the looks of it, by Marinakis. We brought in some big names as well. Igor Jesus, who was impressive at the Club World Cup. Zinchenko obviously came in at the end of the window. We also brought in James McAtee, Omari Hutchinson. The problem being, it's not. Nobody really knows if they were Nuno signings or Edu signings. By the looks of it, they were Edu signings. There was a lot of raised eyebrows as well when the Europa League squad was released, and Omari Hutchinson and Alexander Zinchenko were both left out of it. Quite a lot of Forest fans were looking and going, really, especially considering that there was the inclusion of players like Willy Bolly, who managed to as well secure himself a new contract, and he was a player considered definitely to be Nuno's player, sort of thing. Obviously, played for him at Wolves, came to Forest, and Nuno was very close to him and rated him very highly. The rumours around who the next manager is going to be, Ange Postecoglou is a name that's not going away. He's got a good relationship with Evangelos Marinakis. I know Postecoglou is of Greek heritage himself, so it seems like a natural fit. I know Postecoglou, when he was Celtic manager, was pictured at one of Marinakis' apartments, along with Steve Cooper when Cooper was Forest manager. That does feel like a fit that's natural as well. Postecoglou's got form for winning the Europa League, which Forest are in now. Another name that's been linked is Marco Silva from Fulham. He, of course, has also worked with Evangelos Marinakis at Olympiacos formerly. He's now at Fulham, but it doesn't look like Fulham are going to do well. They've spent on deadline day, but apart from that, it's been a quiet summer for them. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe he could be tempted to come and manage a team that are in Europe. But I think the overwhelming front runner is Postecoglou. It looks like the club want to get a replacement in before the game on Saturday. That is Arsenal away. Whether it's Ange Postecoglou or Marco Silva and whether they'll be in charge remains to be seen. You would think, certainly if it's Arsenal away, they would not put Postecoglou in charge for that one just yet. Talk about being thrown into the lion's den straight away. Overall, my feelings on it are just gutted, to be honest with you. There was a real buzz around the club after last year. Yes, we were deflated that we didn't get into Champions League, but I went to Wembley with Forest. I never imagined that I'll be doing that for an FA Cup semi-final. Most of the top 6 teams last year came to City Ground and found themselves struggling. You know, we beat Man City, we beat Man United, we beat Tottenham, we drew to Liverpool in that night, that atmosphere was just amazing. It was just brilliant to be in. There's no other word for it. The words can't describe it. And it felt like Nuno was a key part of that. We used to sing his name quite readily and loudly, and he'd come over to the fans at the end of the game and he'd clap us, and it felt like we were part of the team. We were genuinely the 12th man on that pitch, and he played into that. Unfortunately, of course, before the Palace game, he made the comments about there's no smoke without fire. Edu is Marinakis' man. It looks to me like he's got the call over Nuno, which, if so, is one of them things. There's a lot going on at Forest that, as a Forest fan at the minute, I'm not entirely sure about. We signed 4 players from Botafogo in the summer, including Igor Jesus, but also John Victor, Jacunyan, Quabano, who's now gone back out on loan to Botafogo. It looks like Marinakis is taking a stake in them. Of course, they are owned by John Textor, who was the Palace owner, who got Palace into trouble last year. There's a lot going on that it feels like isn't all above board. I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but I must say, for a fan, it does slightly worry me. I don't want, if things don't go so well, I don't want there to be all these people who've got a little piece of Forest. I know Edu got a bit of a reputation at Arsenal for sorting out, I think it's Kia Jarabchad, the agent, and signed a lot of his players. We can't just take all these different parties, different players on, because if so, we're going to end up with an inflated squad. We have signed a lot of people in this summer window, 14 I think it was, as well as keeping a lot of the big ones. Look, I know Marinakis wants to build, but I think for Nuno it probably got too much. Nuno will find another job. I hope he finds another job anyway. He was nothing but class at Forest. From where we were under Cooper, it was unsure if we were going to survive, to taking us to Europe, to taking us to Wembley, to taking us to semi-finals. So I think I'll speak for all Forest fans when I say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to him. And whoever the new man is, has got to win the fans over quite quickly, because Nuno has definitely held a special place in our hearts. And if things don't go their way, this could turn out to be, I don't want to say it could turn the place toxic, but I do worry it could turn all that good feeling into a bit of ill feeling around the City ground. But let us know what you guys think. I think the general consensus is, if you were a Forest fan who'd been following it, you sort of knew this was coming. But for a lot of fans around the Premier League, they'll be baffled by this decision. I think I am, to an extent, still baffled by this decision. But let us know what you guys think. Is Postecoglou the answer? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a good day.